Hello and greetings to all. Hope all of you are doing pretty well in life and actually living life to your fullest. In this video today, we are basically going to talk about when can an asset be classified and recognized as PPE under IAS 16. Now, IAS 16 is pretty well most commonly talked about standard. Why? Because it is dealing with the assets of the organization. But first we need to go beyond that and we need to try to understand that what an asset is all about. So for that we need to understand that any cost that is incurred by an entity would always be either considered as an expense or would be considered as an asset. I'm again repeating, any outflow of money that is happening from an organization would either be considered as an expense or would be considered as an asset. Now for that we need to understand further the flow of how the things go about and how to categorize it, which is to be considered as an expense and which is to be considered as an asset. Now for that, let's also understand how to go about doing it. We need to identify whether the resource that has come into the organization is controlled by the entity or not. So if there is an outflow happening and there is an inflow of a resource coming in, then whether that resource is controlled by the entity or not, if the answer is no, then at the very onset we need to consider it as an expense. If the answer is yes, that the resource is controlled by the organization or by the entity, then we move on to the second step. And the second step here is to check whether there is any inflow with respect to the future economic benefit with respect to that asset. That means, am I expecting any future benefit from that asset or not? Now, if the answer is no, then we consider it as an expense, and if the answer is yes, then outrightly we need to consider it as an asset. Now, for an asset that is held by an entity, to be classified as PPE, there are certain additional rules that we need to understand and we need to identify. Because only when these rules or these conditions are fulfilled, only then that asset would be classified as property, plant and equipment. Let's see what they are. The first condition is that the asset needs to be used for the purpose of production or for the purpose of supplying of goods and services. It can be also given on rent to others, can be used for administrative purposes, and last but not the least, can also be held by a lessee under a finance lease. Now, any of these conditions need to be fulfilled, but then all these conditions subject to one most important condition, and that is very important for us to remember, that the asset is in use for a period of 1 year, and 1 year when I say, I am referring to a period of 12 months. Now once the asset gets classified as PPE, we need to further understand the recognition rules, and for that I need to know that what is the cost of the item. Now the cost of the item basically shall be recognized only when two conditions are fulfilled. That is, number one, the future economic benefits which are associated with that asset has to flow into the organization or into the entity. Again, whatever are the future benefits, so there is an expense that has been, there is an outflow of money that has taken place, a resource and an asset that has come in. So whatever are the future benefits that are associated with the asset, that needs to flow into the organization. And secondly, the most important but not the least, is that the cost of that item can be measured reliably. Again, I'm underlining and emphasizing that the cost of the asset should be measured reliably. Now once the asset gets classified and recognized as PPE, we should also now go ahead and try to know that what are the measurement rules. That means I need to know what is the cost of PPE and at what value should I record my asset in my books of accounts. Now when we talk of cost of PPE, we need to take into account three factors. Number one, we need to consider the actual outflow of money less all the trade discounts, all the rebates, all the subsidies, but it would include all the import duties and all kinds of non-refundable taxes also. Again, the actual outflow of money that has happened, less the trade discounts, all the rebates and the subsidies that we have received, but it would include all the import tax, all the import duties, not taxes, all the import duties and all kinds of non-refundable taxes. The second element that we need to understand is the directly attributable costs. Now, when we are talking of directly attributable costs, these are all the costs that are incurred in bringing the asset from its location and bringing the asset from where it is to the present location where it needs to be for the purpose of usage, and also to bring it about in such a condition which is necessary to enable it or to make it capable of operations as is expected and intended by the management. So, if for example my asset is somewhere in south of India, then to bring the asset to our place where the factory is, and also to enable it being capable of the production process, beginning of the production process. Now, all the expenditure that is incurred in this process would be considered and as a part of your directly attributable cost. And last but not the least is the removal cost. Now, what do I mean by removal cost? That when the entity is required to dismantle and remove the asset at the end of its useful life, so the initial cost should include an estimate of this dismantling process and removing the asset and restoring the site to its actual position as it was before the asset was brought in. Now, that is called your removal cost, and therefore it needs to be included in the initial cost when we are recognizing the PPE. So, we are talking about three things. One, the basic outflow of cash that has taken place, which would exclude all the duties, all the rebates, all the discounts, would include all the import duties and any kind of non-refundable taxes. Second, the directly attributable cost, and third is the removal cost. The sum total of all three would be considered as the cost of PPE, and it is at this value needs the PPE to be recognized and to be recorded in my books of accounts. Hope you are clear with the concept of what an asset is, in what conditions would we recognize it as PPE, and at what cost the initial recognition or measurement needs to take place. In my next video, I am going to talk about what would be the treatment in case of the initial measurement and subsequent measurement, and also the depreciation policy that needs to be followed. So, look forward to it. Please do like this video if I have been able to make you clear about the concepts. I am Dr. Jasmine Kaur, creator of theshaz.com, an online IFRS training platform. I would love if you can put across what topics you would help me or you would need that I should pick up to clear your doubts. And do like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, because this is the channel which is going to actually intricately clear all your doubts and queries related to IFRS. Take care, keep smiling and stay blessed. See you soon.